He's just releasing all of that pent up stress.
Noon, I expect my gun back by 5.
But he didn't do any of the things.
I feel like, did you go back and watch it?
Yeah, I went back and watched it.
He stumbled upon this world boss on accident and soloed it. I assume that cops practice
their
Listen,
weird
punk. The only thing you're shooting is a Kleenex. Yeah, that's good.
Life, Death, and Dope Boys, welcome to the show. I am Indy, joined by Justin.
Hello.
Please be prepared for spoilers for the entirety of Breaking Bad. We're talking about that whole thing.
Couldn't see.
Oh, you got your glasses now?
Yes.
Yes, congratulations. Hi there. We just watched episode 3. We're in season 2. This episode is called Bit by a Dead Bee. This episode sets up like the unseen consequences of the Tuco aftermath and the whole stuff that they were doing for season 1.
Mm-hmm. Especially poor Jesse.
Well, I mean, we may as well go ahead and get into it.
Life, Death, and Dope Boys, Episode 10, Fugue, State of Mind.
All right, so after they stashed Tuco's heat out in the desert, Walt and Jesse put their heads together to figure out how to cover their tracks from them MIA days. They split up, and Walt's on his solo mission. Dude manages to hitch a ride back to the real world in a pickup truck. That hole's not deep enough. That they buried the gun in?
No.
I'd be way like too paranoid to just be like, all right, there's the gun. Nah, I'm digging a deeper hole.
Yeah.
Maybe they figure they're far out enough in the desert to where it won't matter, which in the grand scheme of the series, like, that gun never gets found, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I guess that's valid, but I still say no, yeah, they would have dug a way deeper hole.
Yeah, they didn't even get past, like, down past the topsoil. It's like they're still shoveling sand.
It's like 4 inches deep.
That should be enough. Maybe Walt just got tired and Jesse is too lazy, so they're just like...
Hey, at least put, like, a big rock on top of it or something, like...
Yeah, nobody's gonna move this rock. Now, picture this. In a regular old supermarket, clerks doing their thing, and all of a sudden, there's a trail of clothes scattered on the ground, like a messed up breadcrumb trail. And where does it lead? Straight to Walt, butt naked, wandering down one of them supermarket aisles. The man's looking all weak and lost, like he's caught up in some bizarre Twilight Zone or something.
I don't even think that's the look on his face, though. I think it's like a look of, oh my God, what am I doing?
I can't believe I have to do this.
Here we go.
Maybe.
That is some plot armor shit, though. I don't give a fuck.
What do you mean?
His excuse for that being okay is I have cancer and I'm confused. Like,
I don't know, man. Maybe Albuquerque is different. Maybe that shit happens like every Sunday or something.
Ew. You didn't catch an indecent exposure charge? Like,
I'm real surprised about that.
How is this okay?
That wouldn't, yeah, because there's no way that would stay a secret. Like, that would get out and around.
No, hell no. That's...
How did he
It'll
get
be
so...
in, like, the newspaper or something. Somebody's calling the police. It was like, that would be...
That's probably how he wound up at the hospital.
Yeah.
Somebody called the cops on him.
Like...
And the cops were like, ugh, I'm not touching him. Go get an ambulance.
Like, sir, are you all right? And he was like, I don't know where I am.
I'm dazed and confused. Probably in some sort of fugue state. So Walt gets hauled to a hospital in town, and there's this emotional moment when he links up with Skylar and Junior. And man, tears are flowing. Walt's on some next level amnesia stuff, talking about how he can't recall the past couple of days, but swears he's good now. He starts crying as soon as Skylar walks in. It's like, play that part. I'm like, oh, whatever, bro.
Maybe because it's like he cries on command, but maybe he is really just holding in all that emotion. Like the last few days have been
He's actually
really
letting all
stressful.
that out. Yeah. I almost died. I was holding an M16.
Yeah. Like, I always thought it was really surprising that it's so unbelievable that they come into the room and he's immediately in tears, but like,
Maybe.
he's holding some shit in.
He's just releasing all of that pent up stress. He just got kidnapped by a drug kingpin. This dude was high on meth all day.
Walter probably wanted to cry so many times.
I'm sure. A lot of times in there, Walter Vashika just broke down. But he's being weird lying Walt too. Like if you catch yourself rooting for him, because this is another one of those like episodes that there's a lot of just drama. Mm-hmm. And you could actually slip up and catch yourself like rooting for Walter White, especially if it's one of your first couple of watch throughs. But if you actually like, understand that Walt is just lying his ass off right now.
Uncle Hank wasted him.
Oh my God, is he all right?
Absolutely fine.
But where did this happen? How could he be?
Walt, everything's okay.
Then you feel less sorry for him, and you're less inclined to believe him, but you'll miss weird-ass lying Walt if you catch yourself rooting for him. Skyler steps out, got to make that call to Marie, who's with Hank doing the official talk with the big shots at the DEA. You know, ASAC Thunderbolt Ross and SAC Raimi, of course. But peep this, Hank's playing it smooth, saying he asked Tuco to show his hands during that whole showdown with his lying ass. Because he did not tell dude to put his hands up. Nor did he announce himself as law enforcement.
He didn't. Did he? I don't think he said he was law enforcement in the interview.
Not in the interview, but he didn't do any of the things.
I feel like. Did you go back and watch it?
Yeah, I went back and watched it, and the only thing that happens, he gets there, he says,
Jesse Pinkman. Hard man to find.
And then Tuco stands up, turns around, and he goes like,
Easy.
and then Tuco goes for the gun, and they start shooting. He never asks him to show his hands. He never shows that he's law enforcement. So, like, by all accounts, not necessarily like Tuco had the right to just draw on dude, but like he didn't do any of the things that cops are supposed to do before they start shooting.
If that's how you want to be, if somebody walks up on your property and you don't want them there, and you've got an M16 right there,
you can't just pull out and blast him though. Like that's not even how stand your
I don't
ground
think Hank
laws
did
work.
anything wrong. He didn't go there in the capacity of police. He didn't go there to arrest Tuco. He was looking for his brother-in-law.
Yeah, but if somebody's about to, you're standing face to face with Tuco Salamanca, a meth kingpin, right? The dude that you're on a manhunt for as we speak. Like the DEA just raided his office and arrested some of his lieutenants and everything, and they found 2 of his associates dead, like 2 of his bodyguards.
I don't think Hank even like showed a badge or anything.
He didn't present nothing that.
So Tuco had
even...
no reason to think that he was a cop.
No, not at all.
He was just some white man on my land.
That does not.
Gonna have to take you out.
That
bud.
doesn't give him leave to just blast him though. Kill him. No, that's not.
Shouldn't come around here.
Some sort of like.
He had to have passed like a no trespassing or a private property sign on his way up to the property. Ain't no way.
Probably. But Tuco didn't say nothing either. Hey, get off my land. Jesse Pinkman, I presume. Get off of my property. He should have done something more. But he definitely lies to the DEA dudes. To Thunderbolt Ross.
Embellishes.
And then also, all right, so during this interview, they're questioning Hank for what happened out there, mm-hmm. and Walter White comes up. Mm-hmm. You know, I wasn't there on official capacity. Thunderbolt Ross says that he was investigating. You know, you're investigating your disappearing brother-in-law, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, and you know that had me looking into Jesse Pinkman. I went to track Jesse Pinkman, and I found Tuco. So like you, literally, I mean, we sat there and watched Hank do his best detective work, looking for Walter White, and he finds Tuco Salamanca, and he thinks that's a coincidence. There's no way.
Yeah. There's a real good reason that your search for Walter led you to a drug kingpin, bud. Like,
if anybody that I cared about disappeared and I went looking for him and I found like a menace to society at all,
yeah.
I'd be like,
there's a connection between you guys.
What is my friend into? Jesse's back in town too, and he's posted up in a whip with Badger, just scoping out the scene as 12 searchers around Jesse's crib. Once those cops bounce, Jesse and Badger get in on the action. They check in on the meth lab set up in Jesse's basement, and Badger's all hyped, but Jesse's like, hold up, we ain't cooking nada right now. And I was like, Badger, what the fuck?
I feel like I blame Jesse more. Jesse didn't, even when they're in the car watching his house, maybe Badger just didn't ask enough questions, though. He was way too lackadaisical about the whole thing, but... Bro, we're sitting outside my house, and there are police, like...
scoping the house.
I would need some sort of explanation. Like,
I'll be like, okay, tell me
what the fuck's going on, because I feel like I could get arrested being with you. Like,
I told you, man, I'm in some big trouble. Nah, you got to get way more specific.
He goes, what, did you rob a bank? Like, no, really? Did you rob a bank? Like, I don't know if I should be with you right now, bro. You in my car and shit and driving you around.
Yeah, but then they get in there and. First of all, Badger is not helping.
Put me on your magical boat, man. Sail me down your chocolatey river of meth.
At all. Mm-mm. He is making jokes, like joking around. Jesse is obviously stressed out, right? Like, can you not have enough, at least, social awareness to look at Jesse and the way that he's behaving and just start to take the thing seriously? On top of the fact that you were just sitting outside watching the cops perimeter the scene, and then you get in and there's a meth lab in the basement that Jesse is in a big hurry to get rid of. I would be like, all right, I'm either going to get out of here or I'm going to go ahead and help you get rid of this shit.
You should have called Skinny Pete.
Yo, man, I'm Skinny Pete.
Skinny Pete should have been the dude.
Combo.
Somebody else. Not Badger. Why did you call Badger?
Somebody else.
Wendy wouldn't have helped. Wendy would have been trying to do some meth too, because Badger was like, yo, can we cook up a batch while we're here? Jesse's like,
Nigga, did you not just see like 6 cops outside of this house?
this is not the time to be a meth addict.
We gotta get the fuck out of here.
We have to go. You're not even trying to understand what kind of shit I'm in the middle of right now.
He never says.
Wendy would have been just as much about just doing some meth.
Maybe he just doesn't want to tell Badger because Badger is just dumb. And he doesn't. What if Badger gets arrested? Now he knows all this shit.
You think Badger would snitch on Jesse for real?
I think Badger would accidentally say too much because he's dumb.
Tell us what happened. We'll give you some meth. Oh, word? You're gonna
Not
give me
even that. We'll let you go. Like,
yeah, they wouldn't. They would straight up lie to Badger and he would believe it on some making a murderer type shit. And then Badger would spend the next 10 years in prison and Jesse would spend 25 at least. But by El Camino, I feel like he's more understanding of what exactly Jesse is wrapped up in, because by the time he sees Jesse again in El Camino, he's like, are you okay? Like, Jesse knocks on the door and
how
dude is
long
like,
has it been? Like,
how long
I can't
is
wait.
Jesse missing?
How long has it been since Badger and Skinny Pete have seen Jesse by El Camino?
At least half a year. At least as much time as Walter spends in Maine or wherever the hell he is. Oregon? I don't know.
At least that long.
At least that long. And I think he's out there for like 6 months.
Probably just think he's dead.
They probably think he's dead. Like, at that point, it's safe to assume that he's dead.
I can't wait until we get in the show and see when the last time they see him is. Like, when's the last interaction we see?
And then they see Jesse again, and Badger probably thinks back to this and is like, damn, I really fucked up that one time when I was just trying to do meth. And Jesse was like really freaking out. So they pack up all the gear and stash it in the RV, which Badger's cousin Clovis tows using his truck. But he asked for a rack to do the job. Jesse's only got half the dough, but he's like, I got you later. And Jesse instructs Badger, tells him to hit the payphone and make a call. This is all Walt's plan. Like, this is all part of Walt's plan. I remember watching this and being like, man, like Jesse is kind of like leveled up a bit.
No, yeah, none of this was Jesse.
This
was all Walt.
This is all Walt.
These are instructions that Walt gave Jesse to relay to his...
Yeah, because like he's in the car and Badger's like, you know, why aren't they going in the house? And he's like, they need probable cause. And I'm like, oh, okay, Jesse, you learning a couple things about the law.
I don't get it. Why don't they just kick your door down?
They need probable cause.
Probable cause?
Nah.
No,
Walter told him that. They can't go in the house because they need probable cause. But I need you to duck them and get into the house. Jesse is not that smart.
Not yet.
What do you mean, not yet?
He gets there.
Does he?
Yeah.
He becomes a better meth cook.
Nah, he gets there.
I don't know, man. All I remember is, I don't ever remember Jesse being smart enough.
You're not giving him any credit.
Maybe not. Dr. Del Cavoli and some random doctor we've never seen before start grilling my man Walt about what went down. But dude is like, man, I ain't remembering much, you feel me? Homeboy's throwing shade at his own memory, talking about his disappearance like it's some straight up mystery to him. Then he suggests about all the meds messing him up, making him insane in the membrane, like that's the real deal. You can hear him trying to bait the doctors into believing that that's the case, like he's trying to lead them into that answer. Like that's what he wants them to think.
But it's like it doesn't make sense. It's like me trying to lead you to believe that 6 + 7 = 4. Like I'm leading you to it and you're hearing it and it's like, no, that doesn't make fucking sense. What are you saying?
He thinks he's smarter than the doctor.
I'm one of the foremost cancer specialists in the country, and I've never heard of this. What the fuck are you talking about?
This has never happened with me, and I've had hundreds of patients. You know how many lives I've saved?
He thinks he's smarter than the doctors.
Yeah. His idea that he came up with is based on his limited knowledge as a chemist.
I love that Skylar just eats it up and just runs with it.
Oh, yeah, because she knows just as little as him.
She's the most trusting person ever.
But that's probably something that she's been complaining about to a point to where he's like, if I say this, I know that she'll back me up. Because if you notice, when he says like he's been feeling better off the meds, he looks at her.
And being off all of them for the past few days, I have to say, I'm feeling much better.
Yeah.
Because she's all about holistic medicine. Of course she doesn't like...
Oh, the prescription.
Yeah. That's where she's at with it. He's like, yeah, like she'll back me up on this, right, Skylar? And she's like, yeah, I gave him some tea tree oil and he was doing just fine. So they lay it down for Walt, letting him know he ain't bouncing out of there till these docs feel like this memory wipe ain't making a comeback. It's like, hold up, bro, you stuck here in the meantime. He ain't leaving till they're sure he ain't ghosting on him again. Why do you think at this point that Walt is in such a hurry to get up out of there?
So we can go cook?
You think that's all it's about?
Yeah, why else? Like when he talks to Jesse, that's the focus.
Yeah, we're gonna cook again.
Like the whole plan is to secure everything so that he can get out and cook. He's trying to do that as soon as possible. As far as he's concerned, there's no competition now.
Yeah. I mean, there was no competition before. It was using Tuco as a distributor. But now he's trying to make Tuco money, I guess. He's seeing this as an opportunity. He's like, yeah, I can get up in here and do what Tuco was doing and be the big boss.
They should have killed Hector, too.
They didn't have time to kill Hector.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't go back in the house.
They had time to kill Hector. They could.
Instead of going to the car, because they didn't even get the car started before they saw Hank pulling up. Like, Hank pulled up. It hadn't been long.
Yeah, I understand.
And Tuco was still in
Let's say, instead of going to the car, they went into the house and shot Hector.
They didn't even kill Tuco properly. There's no way they were going to do that. Hank's DEA squad ain't messing around either. They pull up on this spot called the Crystal Palace. Like, damn, that name alone screams sketchy. And they bust in on Jesse in there with Wendy and book both their asses. I like before they bust in, like you see, like, you know, Jesse's laying back on the bed and the sound kind of cuts out, but you can see the shadows of the agents running by the window across Jesse. And then they bust in. It's kind of like the cue. I like that. I thought that was a pretty cool little detail. A good bit of film.
Jesse knows they're coming, right?
Yeah, Jesse actually, that's the call that he had Badger make. He had him call the cops or the DEA or somebody to tip him off that Jesse was hiding in a motel. That's why it was like, don't use your name, like call from a payphone, all that kind of stuff, so that they couldn't trace it back to Badger, who would have leaked everything.
Yeah.
So Hank is grilling Jesse real hard. He's all up in his face, asking him all these questions. Jesse ain't backing down though. He's like, nah man, I was at the motel kicking it all weekend. They tell him though that they found his ride at that shack spot, and get this, they also found almost 70 grand in his car. And Jesse's like, nah, ain't mine. Because that's a lot of money. And it kind of implicates him, like not even kinda, it directly implicates him in like a big time drug operation. Like I think that when Hank finds that money, he realizes that Jesse is a bigger part of this than he thought.
$70,000 in cash.
Do you think that this makes Jesse a bigger target than like Crazy 8 at this point?
I think it is surprising that it doesn't. Like you say that like they are on Jesse's neck for like the rest of the show and not as heavy as you'd think they should be.
Right. Because finding that much money, I think it's like
$67,920.
Finding a dude driving a car, thinking you had already caught or killed Captain Cook. Finding a nigga driving Captain Cook's car with 60 grand in cash on him. 68 grand.
68 grand.
Bro, you'd think they'd have been like stalking that man until they caught him slipping up.
That's what I would
Constantly.
Always.
Like Jesse should have been able to start doing that again. No, hell no.
Would not have let up on that dude. It's like, this is more money than Crazy 8 was paying him. I feel like even Crazy 8 wasn't making this kind of money.
No.
Or that was like the kind of money that Crazy 8 was making.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they didn't try and pull him in and make him a DEA snitch.
Yeah, for real. But I guess at that point, Hank doesn't really think shit of him, though.
Nah, he doesn't think he's smart enough. At least Domingo was like fairly intelligent.
And we have to watch the prequel show to see exactly what the circumstances of him becoming a DEA snitch are.
Is Crazy 8 in the prequel show?
He sure is.
Nice. Lots of things set up for season 1. Hank ain't letting up though. He's trying to scare Jesse, telling him he knows he was hanging at Tuco's spot. But Jesse ain't cracking. He's sticking to his story like glue. Then Hank switches gears, brings in Wendy. She's got Jesse's back though, backing up his story, saying he was with her. Solid alibi right there. And this is when it comes back to bite Hank that he had Walt Jr. out at the Crystal Palace that one time.
That's what he gets, making him do that weird, sketchy shit. I'm glad that Wendy remembered and called him out on it.
It's really dope because, like, this is Hank being bit by a deadbeat. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, it's like the title of the show is like, it's not just applying to Hank or to Walt. It's not just applying to Jesse. It's also Hank because he has Wendy on the ropes.
Yep.
Then he has to make that same ass joke. But, you know, I mean, he has the one-liners, though. He had me with Schlongus Interruptus. I thought that was fucking hilarious. He had me. He told Jesse the only shooting he's doing is into a Kleenex. It's like, does Hank come up with this shit like off the top of his head? Like, he is good at that.
I assume that cops practice in the mirror.
Just practice their
Listen,
weird...
punk. The only thing you're shooting is a Kleenex. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And when he actually says it, he's like, that was better than how I rehearsed it.
Yeah, perfect.
Nailed it. Then he's like, who's your chief, little engine? Nah, that didn't hit right now.
What if it did? What if it hit exactly how he wanted it to? He's like, God damn it, Jesse. Yes. Engines, chief, you stupid, come on. Who's the chief of your tribe? I should have to explain my analogies.
Jesse just too dumb to get it. Chief, engine. God damn it, I wasted that.
Yeah. Wasted it. I'll use it again.
How are you?
Use it again next time. Gomez,
was it?
You are now watching Life, Death, and Dopeboys.
Come to me, beautiful baby. I'm gonna be so good to you.
I got medical issues.
Medical issues? Like what kind of medical issues? A penis withdrawal? You got Schlongus Interruptus?
What if he did the next time, like, he used that with Jesse Pinkman?
Shut up, Joey.
He's trying to be a movie cop so bad. Gomez, he's the voice of reason. He's saying they can't hold Jesse because they ain't got no real proof. But Hank, oh man, he not giving up. He wants one more shot at breaking Jesse. While that's happening, Walt's in the hospital seeing a shrink. Doc's telling him it could be forever before he's out. Walt spills the beans, man. He opens up about how he lied about having amnesia. He was just trying to catch a break from his crazy family. But he says it like the psychiatrist has been watching the show for the last season and a half. Like, I don't know what's going on with you, man. And you ask me why I ran? It's like, bro, I didn't know until you told me all this bullshit.
Yeah, sorry, your life sucks.
Yeah, your colleagues are outpacing you. How was I supposed to know that? Why are you talking to me like I'm one of your friends?
I always wonder too, like, this is the one time that anyone ever mentions anything negative about Walter Jr.'s condition.
I don't think he does. He doesn't say nothing about Walter Jr.
Yeah, he does.
Does he?
Yeah, he does. It's like the second thing he says after the accidental baby that we didn't want.
Doctor, my wife is 7 months pregnant with a baby we didn't intend. My 15-year-old son has cerebral palsy.
50 years old and he gets a accidental baby, like...
That would be pretty corny, not gonna lie.
That would be real corny.
Walt Jr. is like a junior in high school.
Yeah. God damn it. We were almost there. Like, bro, how am I supposed to know these things?
Only says he only makes $43,000 a year.
I think he said, did he say 43?
43,000 and some change.
That's not a lot, even in 2008.
No.
It's not enough for him to be making.
No.
Like, I've made that like 3 or 4 times already. Like, in my 20s.
Yeah. And I'm damn sure not some Nobel Prize winning chemist.
Yeah, graduate degree holding chemist.
Like, bro, I went to trade school.
How are you paying mortgage right now?
Yeah. Like, how are you surviving?
Probably just having only one kid, for real. That might be their saving grace. Because Skylar's not working. She's writing a book. Bro, just get that shit published, man. Or go to work.
I think this is before Amazon self-publishing too, so she was like struggling.
Where's her agent? I wonder if Dr. Del Cavoli is also a publishing agent. What if he was?
That'd be dope.
I'm one of the nation's leading oncologists, and on my free time. You need a book published? So Hank's got this wild idea, right? He brings in Hector Salamanca, the old dude in the wheelchair who can only ring that bell. But don't sleep on him, man. He's sharp in his own way. Hank's hoping Hector can ID Jesse, but Hector keeps it real and doesn't snitch on Jesse even though he knows him. Instead, he straight up takes a dump in his wheelchair. DEA's got no choice but to let Jesse walk, no charges.
This is a scary ass scene.
It is.
Jesse.
It is. And I never really watched it from that perspective of like, because I understand that like, you know, the law of silence is active. That's what is going on with Hector. But the law of silence kind of like it means that we're going to find some way to deal with this that doesn't involve the police. So let's keep the police far away from...
I wonder if Jesse realizes that that's why Hector isn't snitching on him.
I don't think he does, because like...
When Gomez asks, he was like, are you afraid of this man? And that bell doesn't ding. Oh my God. Why is he telling on me?
Not only does he not ding the bell, but he's still like mean mugging him. He been... Yeah, for like the last 30, 45 seconds. Dude,
the whole time they've been in this room together, he's been like, you motherfucker.
Yeah. It's almost like he only came in to like...
Send that message real quick.
Send that message to Jesse, right? Like, so Jesse's out, right? He hits up his pops for a ride, but gets shut down. Clearly his dad ain't fucking with him. With no choice but to walk, he and Wendy decide to hit up a Waffle House or something. How many Waffle Houses are there?
Thousands.
Thousands?
Yeah.
Because like, no, all right, I didn't think it was like local. I knew that you could find them all up and down from here to the south, but I didn't realize that you could find them as far out as...
Oh yeah, they're everywhere.
They're like McDonald's for breakfast.
Yeah, they really are.
It's that big.
Waffle House is everywhere. That's not a regional thing.
Left with no options, Jesse dials up Walt from a payphone that night, and they catch each other up on how the plan is going. Walt's all about firing up the RV again to cook, but Jesse ain't feeling that. Walt hits him with the, what's changed? And then straight hangs up on Jesse. Why? How are you going to ask me a question like that and then hang up? Because there's an answer to it.
No, that was a rhetorical question.
Fuck that. Because a lot has changed.
What's changed?
They don't have any distribution. There's no meth lab.
Yeah, there is. They still have all the equipment.
They have the equipment, but it's in lockup. They had to get it because Clovis has it.
It's in Clovis's shit. Okay.
So they got to pay for that, and Jesse doesn't have the money to pay for it.
Walt does.
Walt does, but like... They haven't even talked about that.
A minor detail, though. I can understand why Walt's not concerned. They have a lab.
They officially have no muscle.
They never had any muscle.
They were working with Crazy 8, and then they were working with Tuco.
Those were not their muscle.
It wasn't their muscle.
They were the ones getting muscled.
I understand that.
If anything, they have no ops anymore. That's what Walter sees.
But at the same time, I feel like if you are working in conjunction with somebody's operation, right? You become an asset to them, and they have an interest in protecting their assets. So their muscle becomes your muscle.
But I'm saying Tuco had no interest in protecting that asset. They never had any protection from nobody.
No interest in protecting that asset. He made more money faster than
I guess he was going to send him to Mexico.
Mexico.
I guess that's
that was only his. That was the only. Yeah.
But I don't.
That was his plan on how to protect Walter White.
Distribution will be the distribution, pal. Fuck it. Lab, we still have all the equipment. We just got to go get the RV.
Walter doesn't even have a distribution center. Like, he doesn't have an operation.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
They never get to it. They never get distribution that's stronger than Tuco's until they find Gus.
And that little midpoint, there's not very many episodes left until Gus.
I understand that, but like that has changed, and it has to change back for them to start making at least as much money as they were making.
We still need Combo to get killed. They try their own distribution. That's what's next. What's next is Badger, fucking.
Yo, man, I'm Skinny Pete.
Skinny Pete and Combo selling for them. They're the distributors now.
Yeah, I get that.
And they move into territory they shouldn't,
but they can't start cooking until they.
Until they get the RV
I wouldn't
back.
Start producing until we got
the RV back.
All the things that have changed need to change back. All the things that have changed need to change back before we can cook.
They still have an RV. They still have the equipment.
The DEA are now paying attention to Jesse.
Not as much as they should be.
No, they shouldn't. But they don't know that. That has changed. The DEA is now watching my partner like a hawk.
At least that's what you would think. For some reason, they do. No, because
that's what I would think.
They don't have shit on him. That's what I would think too. But I guess in their minds, the DEA has nothing on Jesse.
They have circumstantial evidence, and circumstantial evidence isn't enough for them to book Jesse, but it's enough for them to watch him. And they don't know that. We know that the DEA aren't going to pay enough attention to Jesse because we've seen the series at least 3 times each by now. But if we're in the moment, I don't know.
I'd be scared as fuck in the moment. Like, bro, Walter, I'm not cooking any more meth.
Yeah,
like,
it's too hot right now.
You weren't just. This is another one of those situations where, like, Walter, you didn't get beat up by Tuco Salamanca. I got beat up by Tuco Salamanca.
Yeah, you didn't get arrested.
You didn't get interrogated by the DEA. I got interrogated by the DEA. They didn't take your 70,000. They took my 70,000.
That too. Jesse, like, Walter still has his money.
Yeah.
And Jesse's the one who's apprehensive about cooking. Like, Jesse is broke.
$80 to his name.
He should be the one who's like trying to cook to get some money, but the fact that he's not should show Walter that, like,
Walter doesn't give a fuck.
He really doesn't. He
hasn't caught any repercussions yet.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's about to. I mean, the whole shit with his family, but not any like real ones. He hasn't caught any repercussions.
I don't think Walter catches any repercussions until Hank dies. Walter doesn't.
Then they all just come crashing down.
Yeah, Walter doesn't catch any repercussions until Hank dies. That's Walt's first real repercussion compared to all the shit Jesse goes through. Walter doesn't catch anything really heavy until Hank dies. They should have killed Skyler or fucking Walter Jr. They give Walter these family elements that could have been manipulated more, and they never touch them. They just make them inconvenient obstacles in his life.
Yeah,
but.
Luckily, he has a passive-aggressive wife, or they would have been bigger obstacles in his life. If his wife was actually, like, assertive for real, like, actually assertive, yeah, nah. There's no way that they could have stayed not involved for as long as they were.
Yeah. Like, nobody got kidnapped or anything?
Like the first threat to his family is with Tuco.
I like doing business with a family, man. There's always a lot of collateral.
And Tuco is dead by the end of that day that he learns about his family. Like almost within hours. No, for real within hours. So it never becomes like a credible, tangible threat. Now, Walt's in the hospital plotting his next move, taking a mental inventory, and it hits him. He stashed that drug money and Jesse's piece in a diaper box at home. Now he's worried about if Skyler found the stash, so he makes a ninja escape, slides back home, hides the stash back in the vent, and then dips, hops on a bus back to the hospital.
Bro, super plot armor because bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't know how the buses run in Albuquerque, but you got out of the hospital.
First of all,
you got out of the hospital on a bus, went home, came back, got back in your hospital bed without anybody noticing.
How did you get out of the house? They never show that.
Like, I guess he just waited in Holly's room, standing behind the door like a creep until everybody went back to bed.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, that's what you'd have to assume. But another thing is like, how did he get back? Yeah, how long was he at home? And how late did the buses run to where like he could have waited for them to go back to bed and then hop back on the bus to get back to the hospital?
And then got back, bro. There ain't no way. He walked out of his room. He had to have passed at least one nurse's station.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck? Even so, like, can you even get back into the nurse's station anymore, like, without a key or like knowing the key code, like
to get back to your room and stuff? Yeah. If you just go back to your floor and all that, he could just walk back to his room, but not without anybody noticing, bro. No.
Somebody's gonna see him. I don't know. Maybe it's just like
nobody came to check on you, bro, the whole time you were.
Maybe he's in that motherfucking like Vito Corleone hospital where there was only one nurse on the whole fucking shift. But that was some motherfucking like he was teleporting around.
Yeah, that's a reach.
Time travel and all that, because it's gotta be like 3 a.m. at the earliest by the time he gets back to the hospital. Oh, Walt needs to give Jesse his gun back.
Walt's never gonna give Jesse.
Why did he stash that gun? Like, it's not. He took it and for real kept it.
Yeah, that's Walt's gun now.
I'm surprised Jesse didn't say nothing about it. He mentioned it one time while they were holed up at Tuco's shack.
I would have mentioned it every time.
Every day.
On the
every
phone.
time
Hey,
I
Mr.
talk
White,
to Walt.
yo, when you get out of the hospital, I need my gun back.
And then I'm going to come over.
Yeah, give me my gun back, bro.
What are you doing here, Jesse? Why are you here?
I'm going to make this real uncomfortable for you. Don't make me ask your wife for my gun back, Walter. Don't make me ask your wife for my gun back, because I fucking will, bro. Give me my gun back.
Could you imagine? Skylar would be like...
I was like, bro, I'll come over when you're straight up at work.
Yeah, I know what school hours are.
Yeah.
What is your wife doing? Not shit. I'm going to come over.
I'm going to ask for my gun.
Hey, remember me? I'm Jesse Pinkman. Your husband has my gun.
I don't know where it is, but I know it's in this house somewhere.
Have a good day. I'm sure I'll have it by the end of the night.
Just leave you with that. It's noon. I expect my gun back by 5.
Oh, man. At the DEA spot, Hank's peeping footage of that methylamine heist, and he's cooking up some theories, you know? He's like, check it. These must be the motherfuckers that whipped up that blue meth we nabbed at Tuco's crib. He calls it the purest stuff they've laid eyes on, ever since way back to when Walt dropped that batch for Crazy 8. Gomez convinces him to leave the office, and it turns out Hank's squad decided to throw him a surprise bash to give him his roses for taking down Tuco. Imagine finding and disposing of a drug kingpin on like a humbug. You would be a hero in the office.
Mm-hmm. There was a manhunt for this dude, and you found him accidentally, single-handedly.
Single-handedly. Even like when he was getting ready to like take the time off to look for Walter, Gomez was like, you gonna do this in the middle of a manhunt? He was like, yo, I gotta find my brother. Like, everybody's sweating me. And then by the end of that day, the manhunt's over.
Yeah.
I found him, took care of him.
He's dead.
Took care of your problem and mine. Have a good night. Yo,
yeah.
I would be feeling myself if I was
That's
Hank.
some hero cop shit that Hank did.
It is. He did a whole movie in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Hank Schrader is.
Got into a whole gunfight and was outgunned. And then won.
And won. He was outgunned. And he won.
Next time he fights somebody with an M16, he loses.
He loses big time.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, like, he did it. Yeah, I'm getting a party. I would be expecting my party.
Yeah.
I'll be sitting in the
like
office
a work
all
party
day, like,
and a home party. Like, I'm gonna get home after the work party and like barbecue. Like, we're celebrating. I took out a drug lord.
He probably in his office like, where is my party? It's 11 o'clock. Where's my party?
I'm gonna get off work and barbecue.
Like slowly making his way to the door. I'm leaving, everybody. Where's my party? Dude had a surprise boss battle.
Yeah. And won.
Forgot to autosave and won the battle.
No potions. He didn't go to the shop beforehand or anything.
Yeah, inventory is empty.
He stumbled upon this world boss on accident and soloed it.
Yeah, they had a whole raid they were preparing. I took care of it solo.
What?
Aaron Yeagered it. When was the last time I rested at a campfire? Nope. I'm Hank Schrader.
Jesse Pinkman, you're a hard man to find. And then a health bar.
He got out the car and it was like, bum, ba-da-da-dum, bum, ba-da-da-dum, bum.
You're like, why is there boss fight music? For just Jesse Pinkman.
Health bar.
He was just a hard man to find.
He had his hand on that dodge button. All right, Hank's at the hospital showing off his gift to Walt. It's none other than Tuco's grill sitting all fancy in the clear block. Walt's all, my bad for putting you in the hot seat. But Hank's like, chill, don't sweat it. They treat me like Elliot Ness up in there. Mm-hmm. Something that I noticed, Walter Jr. really cares about this shootout. Like, he brings it up once, like right when Walt wakes up, like as soon as they get in the hospital, and he's like, starts crying, talking about...
Uncle Hank was in a shootout.
He's like, Oh, whoa, yeah. He plays it off. Oh, what happened? What shootout? Where? What? When did this happen? And it's like, bro, like right now, why are you bringing this up? See, you haven't even said hi to me. You remember who I am, right? Uncle Hank was in a shootout.
Yeah. These are the important things to me.
Yeah, you need to know this. And then tell me about the shootout. Like, you are the only person talking about this.
Well, it's the most interesting thing going on.
Yeah,
from the
for real.
16-year-old's perspective.
He could ask him that shit at the barbecue that they're about to have. He's going to tell the story. He's going to tell it.
Straight up.
All right. Walter's about to leave the hospital, but before that, please, if you're enjoying this episode, like, share, subscribe. We love to see you guys here commenting, liking. I'm really happy with the way that the channel is growing. So please, I mean, you know, if you're still watching, you probably like what you see. Subscribe on that thing. Comment down below. Let us know how we're doing. If you have some input or if you want to answer any of the questions that we debated about while we were talking. And then check out our Patreon. We upload the full episode over there. That's where you can go and see the entire full edit, which is usually a good chunk bigger than the one that we show on YouTube. And it's not just empty calories either. Like, it's good stuff.
Oh, man. There's a pun in there somewhere, but it's inappropriate.
All right, so let's move on. Walt's feeling good enough to skate, finally leaving that boring-ass hospital life behind. Come bedtime, he's trying to kick it with Skylar, telling her he ain't gonna pull that disappearing act again. Skylar ignores all that and asks Walt about a second phone, throwing that out there. Walt's like, nah, I can't say I remember much about no phone, trying to brush it off. He leans in for a kiss, but Skylar turns away, leaving things a bit frosty.
Skipped over the awkward joke he makes with the hat, butt naked, about hitting the Quickie Mart.
Oh, yeah.
Say, honey, I was just thinking about going out to 7-Eleven. Do you need anything?
Which wasn't funny.
No, it wasn't
I feel like
funny.
people who hate on Skylar don't look at things from her perspective at all throughout the show, because Walter is lucky that she laughed there.
Yeah.
And found any levity in any of this.
Really?
Because this is some bullshit.
What?
You disappeared. I'm questioning you on what's been going on and where you've been going. And in response, you disappear. You have no explanation for where you've been gone. I tried to call you on a second cell phone, and you have no explanation for that. This isn't funny. You're gonna joke about walking to the Quickie Mart butt naked. This isn't funny.
This is stressful as fuck.
I still have to take cold showers.
Fix the water heater. That's what you could have been doing for the last 2 days.
Right?
Walter is like super inconsiderate. He doesn't think about anybody but himself.
Ever.
And like, because he's trying to reassure her that it's all good with the, I'm not going to be disappearing no more. Like, you know, I'm healthy. I'm here now. But you're reassuring her about the wrong shit. Like, you don't understand like how stressful it is that you're putting people through.
Yeah. Like the whole situation that Walter is putting people through, just with his health.
Yeah.
And with their finances. That's already stressful enough. And then you're complicating things even more, disappearing and shit. And you're gonna make a joke about it? Bro, you're gonna be dead in 18 months.
We just got home. Then you gonna walk in talking about,
I can't tell you how good it feels to be home.
bro, shut up.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, can you chill out? Like, I really haven't seen you really react to this even still. You cried a little bit when you saw me. Like, this, you're not stressed out enough.
No, he isn't.
You should be way more scared of what happened to you. I know I would be if I just lost 2 days.
But I mean, it's like one of those, like, what do you say? It's like, do you just let it be an awkward silence until it's not awkward anymore?
No, I would have to say something, but it definitely wouldn't be no, like,
Jokes?
Not at all.
I'm a jokey person, and that's just not... You gotta read the room. That really isn't the time.
I think you... It really isn't. I think you just have to be like emotionally aware enough to understand that a normal person who went through what you just went through is not okay.
Yeah, they'd be shaking.
Like, and you're getting home like, don't worry, I'm not going to disappear anymore. Like, you wouldn't be all right. I would be like, look, like I was talking to that psychiatrist. I would make up a whole fucking psychiatrist meeting.
Yeah, for real.
Like, that was hard. It was hard to even talk. Like, I didn't even really know what was going on. So we wound up talking about shit that happened last week. Like, no, I think you and I should talk, but just not tonight because I'm stressed out as fuck.
Yeah. Let me think about how I'm gonna lie to you tomorrow. Sleep on this.
Yeah. Well, do you have a second phone? And she caught him way off guard with that.
This was just an episode of Bad Walter Lies.
Yeah.
That's a bad one.
Really?
Hank told me that you must have a second cell phone because the phone that rang that night is not the phone that I know. And
I would just cop to it. Yeah. Yeah, I have a second phone.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have a second cell phone. Maybe let me repeat myself. Hank, the DEA agent, told me that he ran the number and you don't have a second. You have to have a second cell phone. That's the only explanation, Walter.
Just say you have it. Just say you have another cell phone.
Why lie?
Blame it on weed. At this point, you can still just blame it on weed and be like, all right, look.
Especially because the person who called him was Jesse. This is my weed man cell phone.
It would be a lot easier to just fight over weed for
however long
than to go through what he goes through in the next episode.
Because you could even go to Hank like, Hank, it's going to be real corny if you keep fucking with Jesse Pinkman over the fact that he's my weed man. Please leave Jesse alone on my behalf so that I can continue to buy weed, Hank. Fuck off.
Yeah, you need to make, I don't know, man. If you were going to lie about weed with being the reason for your second phone to Skylar, you might have to drop the weed lie after that. That might be the last time that you could mention weed.
No, because it would have to be a hill you die on at that point, because it's why you have a second cell phone. It's why you have a cell phone. No, sorry.
Just get better at hiding your second cell phone. Don't bring it home with you.
He gets worse, and that's a good point. He should have left that shit in his car or something. But he gets worse.
Yeah, he does. He does, but you got to do better than that. I know you're thinking on your toes, and Walt is really bad at that. But at the same time, sometimes you just have to. Sometimes the best lie has a big chunk of the truth in it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at Walter White, and he's really bad at lying.
He's bad at lying to everybody.
And maybe that's just
he lies so much.
If he was better at lying, then this wouldn't be a show. So maybe it's not something that I'm complaining about, but at the same time, Walt, you gotta. Oh no, I don't remember. I certainly don't remember seeing you in the shower the other night. It's crazy.
I certainly don't have another cell phone. And it's like, Walter, did you just hear what your wife said? She knows you have a second cell phone.
Yeah, this isn't a question as to whether or not. She's not asking you,
do you have a second cell phone?
She's asking you, why do you have a second cell phone? It just sounds like, do you have another cell phone?
She knows you have another cell phone at this point.
Yeah,
it's beyond.
She's in mom mode. She's asking you to give you an opportunity to tell the truth. This isn't some I wonder if Walter has a second cell phone. She's not gonna believe you.
The police have now confirmed to her.
Yeah.
A trusted police officer at that.
This dude knows what he's doing. His best detective work had him kill Tuco Salamanca. He knows what he's doing. He's not just bullshitting. He tried his best to keep that from her, though. But that's the ep. This episode works, especially if you kind of look at it as it's a season premiere rather than the third episode.
because I guess it would be, huh?
It would be. This is a really good season premiere. It sets things up. It establishes a new status quo. All right, so now Tuco's out of the picture. They got to deal with a lot of the fallout from season 1. What exactly is happening that, Walt and Jesse have new individual problems to deal with too. Jesse's broke. Walt, he's dealing with his family problems with these lies and everything. Hank is more of an, I don't know, would you consider him more of an active character as of now? Has he been sort of passive for the first season?
Yeah.
Until the very end?
He's a bro, and he's just, you don't see him doing cop stuff. From this point forward, the Heisenberg investigation just starts getting real heavy.
Yeah.
Because if season 2 is all the shit that I think happens in season 2, Hank is investigating. Yeah. They get Badger. They try to catch Heisenberg. Hank is actively trying to catch the dude. He's just bad at it.
Yeah.
Things just keep mounting for him. And then you got Tortuga, and then you got the twins.
Yeah, Hank is probably the primary antagonist this season. All right, y'all. Well, that's today's episode, this week's episode of Life, Death, and Dopeboys. Thank you a lot for being here. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you very much. Rest in peace, Wes.
Thank you.